Welcome and thank you for being here. I'm Tim Laskis and this is my good buddy Rex Barnes and we're at his shop, Relentless Tattoo, and where the hell are we? Welcome and thanks for Come on, Tim. If we can't get through this part, we're in trouble. Welcome and thanks for being here. I'm Tim Laskis and this is my good buddy Rex Barnes and we're here at his shop Relentless Tattoo in Powdersville, South Carolina, just outside of downtown Greenville. And in this video, Rex is going to share his personal story of how he got started in the tattoo industry, and then after the video, be sure to stay tuned because he's going to give you an inside look of this awesome shop. So let's jump right in. So Rex, how long have we known each other?
Probably around 30 years now.
Well, it's been a long time, and it started out when we were racing.
Yep.
We were racing motocross. We raced amateur motocross for years. I think we met at maybe a track in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Was it Step Mill MX?
I think it was Step Mill, and then we continued to travel pretty much all over the East Coast and racing
Absolutely.
together.
And we had a good time. And man, we just stayed in touch. And we're dating ourselves for 30 years. I can't believe that time has gone by. It went by really, really quick.
Yeah, too quick.
But anyway, take me back and tell the viewers a little bit about how you got started in the tattoo industry.
Well, I started getting tattooed about 28 years ago and made a commitment to try my best to get involved with it, and finally talked Randy Herring of Skin Art in Gastonia to let me start there, and I started in October of 1996.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, so now this October celebrates my 20 years in the industry.
Wow, congratulations. Man.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So, you know, you've been in the tattoo industry for, such a long time, and I'm sure you're aware of some of the stereotypes of people who work in the tattoo industry, and even maybe people who get tattoos. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Back when I was first getting tattooed, I remember going to the beach and families actually getting up and moving down the beach from where we were at. So since then, it's definitely changed a lot. Tattoos are more visible now with people, and a lot more people are getting them. Mm-hmm. And they're becoming more mainstream and more accepted.
Right. So it seems, probably today people would be surprised that, you've got doctors, you've got lawyers,
oh, yeah.
You've got a lot of professional, white collar people who are getting these tattoos, where I think, maybe when it started, and maybe there's still that stereotype today that, it's inmates and, people who, are
there's definitely people
maybe
that still
more
view
blue
it.
collar.
There's still people that definitely view it that way,
Mm-hmm.
but for the majority of people, they're okay with it.
Right.
Typically, it was your sailors, your bikers, and
Mm-hmm.
inmates, and what some people would consider non-desirable or whatever you want to call it.
Right. And I'm sure Hollywood probably had a lot to do with making it more mainstream too. When you got a lot of the high-profile actors and actresses and even musicians out there. I think of tattoos. I think of like Lil Wayne now. He seems to be covered in tattoos, and I've seen some of his older videos, and he didn't have any tattoos, I don't think, and now he's kind of covered. So it really kind of crosses over, and a lot of people are really into getting tattoos.
Well, that and all the TV shows have really brought it to the public eye. Mm-hmm. So that's helped with the popularity of it, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And what was that aha moment for you when you said, "Man, I want to." Because you started working with someone for a while. Is it, I guess, an apprenticeship? Is that what they call it?
I didn't technically do an apprenticeship. We kind of all worked together and just kind of helped each other out. I've been able to, and very fortunate to work with a lot of really great artists, and so it's helped my career out a lot.
Okay. So when did you have that moment where you said, I want to kind of go out on my own. I want to do my thing. I want to be my own boss. I want to be self-employed. When did you have that moment, and what happened that caused it?
I think I had it kind of early on. I always knew that I wanted to do it. Once South Carolina became legal, I had the opportunity to come back and be closer to my family and my daughters. And that was my big turning point, was being able to come back and be closer to home and family.
Right, because you were in North Carolina when you started out where it was legal.
Yes.
And so then South Carolina, it was kind of behind the times, I guess it was. And so then once they opened that door, then it was like, hey, you could be the first, kind of the pioneer in South Carolina to have a shop.
Yeah, there were guys before me. Definitely, it's been around for around 10 years now, and I've been here back in South Carolina for almost 7. I think it's 7 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it's 7 years. I'm not sure. Could be a little bit longer.
And have you seen a big, industry kind of uptick with a lot of shops that are opening? Is there more competition today than, say, maybe 5 years ago?
Oh, definitely. The problem around in South Carolina that I've seen is you have a lot of people that are just starting out and they automatically open a shop. To me, you need to kind of pay some dues and get some time underneath your belt before you jump into that ship.
Right, right.
So.
And I think people would be surprised that how regulated the shops are. That, I mean, you have to do a number of courses and classes and be certified in certain things.
Yeah, that part is not that difficult. It's the opening of a shop that's really difficult. There's a lot of different hoops you have to jump through, especially in this state, and that's been probably one of the bigger issues of opening.
Got you. Now I'm curious, and I'm sure the viewers are curious as well, as maybe what's the most common body part that you're asked to tattoo?
To be honest, it's all over. I mean, there's no one common area.
Okay.
Typically, your arms are usually the first. Small little tattoos on your ankles and stuff like that. That's for people with their first tattoos.
Right.
People that are more of a collector, they're going to have multiple body parts, large scale work done for the most part.
Right, right. Now people can spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to have this artwork that's all over their body. So it's a pretty big investment.
It is.
And do you have people who continually come back where they maybe start with, one tattoo on the arm, and then maybe they want a half a sleeve, then they want a full sleeve, and then they have another sleeve?
Yeah, we kind of laugh at the people that come in and go, "Oh, I'm just getting one tattoo," and they're back in 2 weeks.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, that says a lot about your work. So people trust you and they enjoy what you do. And you've also been featured on a number of tattoo magazines, or some of your clients that you've tattooed. What magazines are those?
There's International, Skin Art. God, I can't remember all of them.
But there's a number out there. But I know you've been on probably almost all of them, if not all. But I've seen some of your work, and it's just amazing, just mind blowing. I have another question. This is kind of a funny one. What's the strangest body part that you've ever been asked to tattoo, whether you did it or not? I'm
not sure I can talk about that on this interview.
Okay, I think I can take it. We'll go on to another question. Okay, I think I know where you're going. But this is a G video, so we won't go
We're not going to answer that question.
No, we won't go there, but all right. So let's kind of move right into, as far as being self-employed, being a business owner. What is kind of the reality of working for yourself? I know there's so many people out there who think, wow, I just can't wait to be my own boss. I can't wait to tell my boss to, stick it, and I'm going to work for myself, and it's going to be a blast, and every day's going to be fun. What is the reality?
You don't get fired. That's the greatest reality of it, probably. It's very hard. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of hours. It's the biggest thing is, people don't see the behind the scenes part of it. The paperwork and keeping up with this, and regulations, and being on top of everything. And that's what people think it's all fun and games, and you just draw on people for a living. I wish. That would be that's the fun part of my job.
Right.
The other part is the business side, which can be stressful and takes time.
Right. You talked about stress. how mentally challenging is it to be a business owner? You know, what is that like? You know, in the struggle that we all have when times get difficult, and I'm sure it's unique for business owners and being self-employed. What are some of the, kind of the mental challenges for you, and how have you coped? Did you ever have a time when you thought, mentally, man, I don't know if I can do it anymore, or I'm drained, or I'm burned out? Like,
yeah, you definitely get burned out and you get drained. Sometimes it happens multiple times during a week. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have weeks that just go by and you just coast and everything's great.
Right.
And then you're going to hit a brick wall again. Mm-hmm. For me, because I do both sides of the business, like I am tattooing and I'm the business side of it, I've kind of learned to take one day a week and just focus only on that and make sure everything's done. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it doesn't come back later on when I'm trying to do my job part.
Right. So just kind of maybe just focus kind of right now and don't kind of get too worried about down the road.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, mm-hmm. when things come up, if you have to set them aside, make sure you come back and tackle them when you have to, mm-hmm. and do it in a timely fashion.
Got ya. What are some tips, maybe 2 tips that you would have for some of the viewers who are thinking about being self-employed, who want to start their own business, regardless of what it is? Since you've been doing this for a while, running your own business, what are 2 tips that you would have for the viewers that would help them?
Try to be as patient as possible.
Patience, okay.
Patience is mm-hmm. a big one. You'll be told certain things. Oh, we'll come and do this at this deadline. Those deadlines usually don't happen. Just mm-hmm. be patient. They'll mm-hmm. come.
Right.
The other is probably make sure you have enough capital. Mm-hmm. Because mm-hmm. You're going to fall on hard times. Mm-hmm. I don't know of any business that has just skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. So make sure you've got that. Make sure you save your money and, don't overspend at the beginning.
Right, and I'm sure that's probably easy to kind of get into. Is if you have, especially a brick and mortar building or a store, it's easy to want to spend a lot of money and make it look nice. And sometimes people blow their budget, and then they don't have that money to be able to pay the rent, or
exactly.
They have in their mind they know how they want it to set up and what it's going to look like, but yet the reality of when are the customers going to come in, and when is the money going to start flowing in?
When is it going to start rolling back in?
Because in the beginning, money's rolling out.
Yeah, it's all rolling out.
Nothing's coming in, so you have to be able to kind of weather that storm until the money comes in.
Yeah, well, like with this business, the good thing is my dad and I built pretty much everything in here, mm-hmm. so we put a lot of sweat labor into it, and instead of outsourcing it.
Okay, so there's some ways that you can kind of still have that nice look aesthetically and be able to cut corners if you're handy or know someone.
Yeah,
and
my dad.
So it's always good to have dad around. And so those are good tips, because I think sometimes people, initially you mentioned patience.
Yes.
Is people want to jump in and they just want to just go after it and start making money, and they think, well, as soon as I hang the open sign, people are just going to rush in.
They're going to flood the gates.
Right,
yeah,
and it doesn't happen that way. So you have to spend time in building up your name, your mm-hmm. reputation, and that's just one customer at a time, and you just have to work at it. And like you said, be patient and have that capital to be able to withstand the storm in the beginning, because it's going to be kind of rocky and, mm-hmm. and stormy, and so to be able to get through that. Well, that's great, and we're out of time, but how can people contact you?
We can be contacted. Number one, telephone number is the best thing. It's 864-295-2237. We also have a website. It's relentlesstattoo.com. We're also on Facebook at Relentless Tattoo SC for South Carolina. And also Instagram at Rex Barnes Tattoo.
Awesome. All right, Rex.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, take care.
Hey guys, come on in. Well, this is the lobby of Relentless Tattoo. As you can see on the walls, we've got plenty of artwork that we've been collecting throughout the years, and we just try to display as much stuff as we can and give people options and just to check out some really cool artwork. As you'll see throughout the shop, we've got a lot of skateboards. This is stuff that we did for a children's auction and charity event. Was done last year. And in here is my good friend Greg Plexico's room, and this is where he does all of his tattooing and makes some magic. And right across from Greg, we've got my room, and this is where I do all of my tattoo work. And as we come down the hallway, obviously more artwork and flash from a lot of great tattooers. Just once again to give people inspiration on things that they can get, and we like to do them as well. If we come on down a little bit ways, this is probably one of the most important rooms. This is where pretty much everything starts. This is our drawing room. All right, let's go get tattooed.